Hey guys, you're not going to believe this. All the parts that I ordered from Harley to fix up Sophie, they all came in within 6 days. Stuff hasn't come in that quick since before the pandemic started, so maybe that's a good sign. The other thing that came in recently that we're going to use to film the work I'm doing today is my new GoPro 9 setup. I haven't used this yet, so we'll see how this works, but I'm thinking it's going to work pretty well. Now before we actually get into the video and I start showing you this stuff, please remember, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a dude that owns a bike. I like to tinker around, I like to solve things, I like to play with stuff. So if you're looking for a video from a certified mechanic, go check out John Maxwell's channel. I'm not that guy. I just make my videos for people like me who are looking for some type of reference material to get some work done on the bike. With that said, let's go fix Sophie. All right, let's get to it. All I really need to do today is to replace the clutch lever that the end snapped off of. But I decided that since I'm going to do this, I'm also going to do some things that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And that is to black out the rest of these chrome bits that are on the bars. You can see we've got like the pin up here. And to be honest, I got a little bored waiting on parts, so I kind of started blacking stuff out here. And I'll just show you on the brake side. What we're going to do today is we're going to also, in addition to replacing the clutch lever, we're going to black out the, actually I've had black Acorn nuts to swap out here, and we're going to black out this chrome piece as well as the retaining pins for the lever. As far as tools and parts, for the levers themselves, we really only need a good set of snap ring pliers. And I would highly recommend getting a good set of these. I've always had trouble with snap rings, and those little cheap pliers just don't do it for me. I actually got this from Home Depot. It was a little expensive. It's from Channel Lock, but it's a good set of pliers. I'll put a link to these down in the description of the video. I also have ordered replacement parts for the Acorn nuts for the mirrors that we're going to put on, as well as locking washers for the very top of the control area where the mirror goes down. So those are silver, so we're going to put black on there. And then I went ahead and bought 2 snap rings from the dealer because I know I'm going to jack up these snap rings taking them off. You'll notice that there are 2 different sizes. The larger one is for the clutch side, and the smaller one is for the brake side. And I'll put the part numbers to all of this stuff down in the description below. Also need a 1/2-inch socket or a 1/2-inch wrench. If you don't have a deep socket, you can just use a wrench, and that's to take the Acorn nuts off of the mirrors so that I can get the mirrors off, and then also going to replace those. Need a little grease for the bushing and the levers. Of course, I have my PSR lever, shop towels to clean up, and then there's one big part that I'm going to paint. I'm using Krylon's Supermax All-in-One. This is the best stuff that I've found for blacking out things like bolt heads and screws and little bits and pieces. It's worked better than anything else that I've tried. And then I've got a little black denim touch-up paint from Harley that I'll use to just kind of do some slight touch-up on some of the bits that I'm going to black out. And that's it. So you don't need a lot of stuff. So let's kind of talk through the process. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to go down and disengage that little clutch cable lock that's underneath this. We're going to pull the clip off, we're going to pull this up, and then we're going to take the lock and disengage that to give me some slack in the clutch cable. Then we're going to pull the snap ring off the bottom, which you can see I've already done that because I didn't want to waste your time watching me try to get a snap ring off. Off the bottom of this pin, pull this pin out. I'm going to take the mirror off to give us a little more room to work here. Then we're going to replace the clutch lever. And after that, then we'll go work on the other side, basically taking all of this stuff off. I'll show you how to replace the brake lever, and then we'll put everything back together, and we should be done with this first little bit of work we have to do. So let's get started. Okay, step one, we're going to take this clip off. So the clip's off. Then we're going to pull this sleeve up. That will expose, that's dirty, the locking mechanism down here. So you've got this little locking piece here, the red, and what I want to do is just push that in, pull it out. Then we want to pull the cable all the way down and then snap that red lock back in. It's a little counterintuitive because you would think pulling this down makes it tighter, but it actually doesn't. And as you'll see now, we have a lot more play in the clutch up here. Next step is to come over and get a swig of Tateric, nectar of the gods. I got addicted to this stuff traveling around Malaysia for a few years. Okay. Now you want to take that snap ring that's off the bottom down here of this pin. And then once you have that, you just want to pull the pin up. Take it out. So the reason that we pulled that locking piece and pushed down on the clutch cable to give us a little slack up here is because now all I have to do is pull this out this way, and then the clutch lever comes straight out. I've seen other YouTube videos where people are trying to yank on this cable and bend the cable and everything because they didn't go down and do that first step that we did. Thank you, Ms. Percy, for the camera assist. So now that we have the lever out, all we need to do is to pull this retaining piece out. And we have the lever off, and there's the clutch cable. So let's go get our new PSR journey. So we'll open up the PSR box. And in the box, we have a PSR keychain. We have the clutch lever, nice and new and not shiny because it's black. And then don't miss this little piece down here. This is a plastic bushing that we're actually going to insert into the lever when we reassemble it. So we're going to take this bushing and we're going to go ahead and just put just a little dollop of grease around there on the inside a little bit and around the outside. Set that there, and then we'll take this retaining piece off the old broken lever. And then we're going to put that on here, and you'll notice there's a little pilot piece or guide piece there that actually, you know what, let's put just a little bit of grease around the outside of this too. Okay. So that'll fit in like that. And then a little bushing is going to go in here. Kind of move that around to get that grease rubbed around the inside of that little lever hole. There we go. Okay. Now we'll go put it on the bike. So just kind of hold it. Come in a little closer. Yeah, right about like that. Okay. So now we're going to take the clutch cable, slide that back into the lever. I'm going to put this piece through that, make sure it's a little guide piece is in there. All right, then we're going to kind of work this back into place. Bring that cable around, seat that. Then I'm going to seat the lever in here. That's okay. Let's just touch it again. There we go. Get that right in place. And now we're going to put the pin back in. That's it, thanks. Through the magic of editing, I'd already prepped the pin that we're going to put in. Sprayed this black on the top and the bottom with my can of Krylon. The key with using the Krylon on this stuff is to just do really thin layers. Let it dry like 15 to 20 minutes in between each layer, and it actually looks really nice. It's a flat black. They have this in a gloss too, but I prefer to work with the flat. So now what we're going to do is work this pin back into position on here. And I got to put the camera down. And cool. There's the new blacked out pin back in. The lever is still loose because I haven't released that cable down there, which we'll do here in a second. I've also put the snap ring back on the bottom of this pin to make sure it doesn't come out. Got a little grease on here. So now we'll go down, and what we want to do is reverse what we did here before. We want to push in on those red pieces to release that lock. Pull the cable up. Got that all the way up. I'm going to push the lock back in, and we'll test. Wow, nice and tight, nice and smooth, and we're good. So the only thing left now as far as the lever replacement is concerned is to put the sleeve back down to cover this. And then put this ring back in place, which you don't need to see a video of. You just snap it back in. And we are done replacing the lever. Now we're on to the next thing. Since I already cheated on the other side and had blacked out the stuff down here, I'm going to switch over to the brake side and show you how to disassemble this and then how we're going to replace it and put it all back together. So the first thing we want to do is remove this Acorn nut. That's with your 1/2-inch socket or wrench. That holds this piece in place and also the mirror. So we're going to take the Acorn nut off. We're going to pull the mirror out. We're going to take this little washer off the top, and because we're going to replace that with a black one. And then we're going to unscrew this light from this piece. That'll have this entire mounting piece here loose. We'll clean it. We're going to spray paint it, and then we're going to put it all back together. Be careful to make sure you don't lose this bottom little locking washer there, because we're going to need to put that back on when we put the black Acorn nut on. Pull the mirror out. Now we'll need to take a 1/2-inch wrench, loosen that just a little bit. Now we should be able just to go ahead and rotate this. Okay, now we have this piece. We'll take this over. We're going to clean this off, make sure we got all the grunge off of it, and then use the Krylon spray paint to put probably 4 or 5 small little coats on here, and then we'll reassemble everything. But while we're doing the painting, why don't we go ahead and I'll show you how to remove and replace the brake lever on the Fat Bob. The first thing to do, again, remove the snap ring from the bottom. I've already done that. And then you want to pull this pin out. So now the lever's loose. Stick that in my pocket. The next thing you'll want to do is we need to take this top cover off. So you're going to need a T25 Torx. And then we're just going to take this screw out. And then there's another screw here that's underneath, and you're going to want to use the T25 as well on that. Now that we have this cover off, we're going to remove this bolt, and then we're going to remove the one on the bottom here so that the component back here pulls off and we can take the lever out. I've taken this one out already, but I'm not going to film this one because I don't want to risk dropping the stuff and hitting the tank. Which is why you should always cover the tank anyway, which I forgot to do when we started the video. Cover the tank. Don't be like Percy. Cover the tank. So now with that piece off, this will just come off this way, and then you can pull the lever straight out. I'm going to lay that down. Yep, so now we have the lever. In order to replace the lever or get it reassembled, just reverse all those steps and make sure that it's fit. If you're putting a new lever on, make sure you do put a little grease on the surfaces and in the bushing. One thing you do want to make sure you pay attention to is you've got a little switch here right inside there. Now this is your activator for your brake light. So when you pull on the lever, it depresses this. You want to make sure you pay attention to this when you put the lever assembly back in so that you don't shear that off or break it. If you're having trouble getting this seated, you might want to go ahead and put the pin back in for the lever as well as the snap ring. And then what you want to do, it's kind of hard doing one-handed. There's this little piece right here should fit right inside of that groove there. And then again, make sure you've got the lever depressed a little bit and that you're coming in on the outside of the brake signal little piece there because you don't want to break that off. And I can't do this one-handed, so I'll have to put this down and come back. And that's it. Once you get this on and back together and adjusted, make sure you test the brakes. I'm gonna make sure that the switch there is working, which it is. I hope that this piece somebody finds really helpful. It's not very complicated. And to be honest, it probably only takes about 10 minutes, maybe less. Looks a little more complicated because I've got one hand holding the camera and then one hand trying to do that, but that's it. So now we need to finish painting that one bracket, and then we're going to put everything back together with the new black bits. But I think that looks a lot nicer already, having that little chrome piece knocked out. It's not in your eye. And we are done. We have the painted piece back on. If you need to adjust the level of your turn signal, you just need to tighten or loosen this little nut right there. But yeah, everything's back together. I think it looks very nice. I think the blacked out stuff looks a lot better than all those little chrome odd bits. So that's it. We have this piece done. Just to recap, we changed the clutch lever. We put the black bits with the little washers and the Acorn nuts for the mirrors there. We blacked out the piece here the light connects to, the turn signal connects to. And then I went ahead and did that tear down on the lever for the brake. But yeah, I'm really happy. Glad to have at least this part of Sophie fixed back up. So I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please consider hitting the thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, this is kind of some of the stuff I do here besides ride around and talk and motovlog and do all kinds of that stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you would consider subscribing and then hit that bell so you get notifications when I put up a new video. Thanks so much. As far as the GoPro 9, I kind of dig this, man. It's a pretty good setup. I like the little light there, makes it a little easier to kind of light up stuff while you're working on it. The horizon leveling stuff seems to work pretty well. I don't think that the video was going like this while I was moving around a little bit. So I don't know. So far, one thumbs up. There is a problem with the GoPro 9 media mod. Maybe I'll do a video. I haven't really done any like tech videos, and I live in the tech world and I use all kinds of tech stuff. So maybe I should start doing that. What do you think? Let me know below if you would like to see some tech review videos and things about cameras and photography equipment and that kind of stuff as well. Anyway, you guys have a good one. The next thing we're going to work on with Sophie is that. We're going to be replacing the outer primary cover. That should be fun. You guys have a good one. Peace.